everyone. Welcome to the pilot episode of On a Very Serious Note, where we dive into personal and professional growth, relationships, travel adventures, and social issues, all with a twist of fun and a sprinkle of seriousness at the end. Kaya tara na't usap tayo. I am Patrick, your host, and today we have a very special topic na super close to my heart, the art of self-love. O, diba? Marami sa atin ngayon naririnig ang term na self-love pero ano nga ba talaga ito? At paano natin ito ma-achieve? So today, we have Chennie Montero, a Cebuana content creator, a mental health advocate, and a life coach who has helped so many people or individuals discovering the power of self-love. Hi, Chennie. Welcome to the show.
Hi! Hello, everyone! Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you for gracing your time with us. I know this was a very short notice, but you're still here. Um, you're very passionate about the platform you have and the advocacy you have. And when I saw that you have an upcoming project about self-love and promoting how to improve and develop self-love among our community, members of our community, I was really eager to invite you in because we're still launching this pilot episode, and I've been thinking, ano ba yung pinaka magandang topic for this pilot episode? And voila, I got you. It was a universe aligned for us, and I'm so happy that you're here. But yeah, tell me about yourself. I'm very curious about how did you cope with all these things that you're doing right now?
Mm. So the advocacy really stemmed from at first from being a victim of bullying when I was young. And then it intensified after my heartbreak, which will be
Oh,
another podcast. I'm sure it's a really long story. But basically, it came from there.
okay.
But yeah, it's pretty much it in short. And then content creation, I started actually creating content for like modeling fit, um, model fits in general. But then it grew to another niche or focus because I figured I wanted to keep creating, and if I just stick with modeling content lang, limited ako ideas pa. So I did some like audit and asked myself what else, like what content can I create pa. So I touched on the topics that interest me, like fashion, and then self-love. So
Wow. Hey, nice. I mean, most of this is what really amazes me a lot, no? Like, this podcast, I've never been really thinking about, or it wasn't in my thought before having a podcast channel, but because I so love talking, I so love discussing and having conversations with people, not other people's personal lives, but their journeys and personal experiences. This is the reason why I've created this platform. And even before this, I have another channel for those who have been following me for quite some time. It's actually a platform where I allow people or give people an avenue to express themselves anonymously, where they can tell their stories, hidden stories, that's the stories that have been hidden inside their closet for a long period of time because of trauma and all that. And they're scared. Takot silang i-share ito kasi they will be judged and stuff like that. So it gives an avenue for people to release that for mental health stuff. And I think that really progressed into a wonderful avenue. It's just that, the pandemic was just so super hard for everyone. So did not even
it's
had a
really good
traction.
that you're creating these spaces
Of
because
course.
it's
Yeah.
just it's difficult when you're going through it alone, and it's really good that you have like a support,
Of course,
even if
yes.
it's like virtual
And
only.
yeah, I agreed. It's just like us together in this community. we only have one goal, right? To improve and promote mental health awareness in platforms and advocacies. And I'm so excited about you
Mhm.
having this upcoming project you have, the art of self-love or self hashtag self-love club. Is that correct?
Yes,
Nice.
that's
Okay.
correct.
So
Yeah,
I'm
it
not
just
gonna like
started as a series actually. It was just started as a series of me sharing, blabbering about my wisdom and
uh
learnings because to be honest, it's like something that I look back to, like if I need personal reminders for
mhm.
myself, like where am I at this journey of my healing and growth? I sometimes look back at my videos, the self-love class series, and like, oh wow, I've grown so much, and it helps me keep grounded. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
The sake of the lack of better definition and overview and concept based on like what you've gone through and the programs and the advocacies you have, how would you define self-love?
Self-love to me, because the journey is complex, self-love in general, but self-love to me is caring for and loving for one's self in all aspects. I think we're very used to the definition of self-love very much on the physical stuff, physical aspect. But I think it doesn't limit to just the physical aspect. It's more holistically,
Mhm.
sorry. That includes self-care, how he or she takes care of his or her body, his or her relationship with his body and the self inwards. So yeah, holistically.
Wow. I like that. It doesn't just talk about the inner sense of it, but you also highlighted it. You know, bago sa akin yun na it also self-love also has to do with loving your body, you know, having to I think it has to do with like what you've said, being whole to the love that you can give to yourself. Amazing.
Yeah.
Now, because a lot of people are confused, I mean, for me, one, there's self-love, there's self-care and self-esteem. What are these things and ano bang pagkakaiba ng mga ito?
No, okay. Self-care and I think self-care, self-love, self-esteem, they all go hand in hand. Um, you cannot do self-love without caring for yourself. And if I can expound on that, um, you nourish your body, you exercise, for example, and that's an act of self care because you care about, filling your cup so you can be there for the ones you love and for the things that you love to do, right? And
Mhm.
then self esteem goes hand in hand as well because if you don't do the inner work, we will constantly search for external validation.
Mhm. Got
So
it.
yeah, I hope that made sense.
Yeah, it made sense. It made sense. Well, hindi what I think what you were trying to say is that these three things, although they have different connotations, they are they are actually related with each other. Like, you know, when you
Yes, yes.
improve, when you have the energy to nourish your body, it also boosts confidence, which talks about the self-esteem, right? And
Yes, yes.
holistically, you when you have confidence and you're able to express this publicly and socially, then you start um, having more self-love.
Yes.
It's not being narcissist, right? you know, having this so much vanity for ourselves. But I think yeah, it talks about filling our cups, like what you said, first before we can
I,
even
I,
fill.
I was asked that question before. Like, I've already anticipated that before when I was like, when I'm doing all this thing, like putting self-love stuff on my platform. I had a question, anonymous question. Someone said, what's the difference between self-love versus narcissism? Like,
Mhm.
I knew it. Someone's gonna ask this question, but
Yeah.
like, right off the bat, there's a huge difference. Self-love doesn't really. It's you say narcissism or That's the right word. But narcissism, yes, you only focus on the physical aspect, I think, for me.
Yeah,
Um, and then self-love is, like I said, holistic. Doesn't
yeah,
only limit to embracing and loving your body, physically how it looks,
yeah.
but it also involves on inner work. How are you internally?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Understood.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think a
Thank.
narcissist would really care about the inner work. See,
Yeah. Because I think a narcissist. I'm not trying to be this psychologist or someone who had backgrounds with with psychology here. But I think being too much that has too much vanity towards self or narcissism
right.
towards self is having the coming from an energy of selfishness, right? When you're so when there's too much there's a line across too much selfishness versus just a bit of a selfishness because there's also good with being selfish at some point. I'm also
Mm,
a firm believer of having boundaries. I think that's one of the most
correct.
common misconceptions, right? Having correlating um self-love with narcissism, and then of course self-love with self-care with being selfish. But too much of it really is not bad, or it's a negative connotation. I think there's an energy of being too much there's too much vanity, as you said. Nanggagaling siya sa love for the looks only, like how you portray yourself and how you express yourself
Uh,
physically with others versus holistically. And I so like that. That was really new. That was new to me. I mean, I've been probably thinking about it, but in the unconscious state of mind. But now it got revealed into the surface, and
but you
it
know
gave
what? It
so much
also
clarity.
speaks. It can also operate from a place of insecurity,
A
not
place, wow.
selfishness.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah. Can you expound more of that? Why does a lot of people have problems with self-love when they have so much insecurity? Why these people cannot achieve, you know, having self-love?
I think they're very much focused on the external aspect of self-love,
Mhm,
like attaching the definition of their happiness, their sense of self from the external sources rather than loving themselves internally, who they really are,
mhm,
authentically, genuinely. This is me, Chennie. Who am I?
mhm,
It's like, this is Chennie inside. She's the soft, kind, warm self. Not everyone might like that personality, but that's me. I love that side of you. So,
mhm,
you know, so very influenced by the external source. So, oh, I'm a model. I should act a certain way. I should act this way. I should have this certain personality because I'm a model. Like,
mhm.
no. You have to have that sense of self. You have to really get to know yourself deeper more than,
Authentic self, yeah.
the expectations from the society.
Yeah.
Just with what you. So yeah.
Yes, I agree. And I think most of the new generation, like the new young ones right now, are really pressed onto the kind of pressure
Mm.
of really, proving something into the society, right? I'm not saying all, but marami ngayon ang nagkakaroon ng mental health issues because they're trying to live a life na hindi naman talaga authentic sa self nila. And now I'm gonna ask you about the importance of self-love with our mental and emotional well-being. How does that correlate?
And self-love is important for our mental and emotional well-being because it protects us from the things that harm or affect our mental and emotional well-being. So, for example, our inner self reflects how we perceive the world. So the
Mm-hmm.
more you work on your healing, the more that you are kind and compassionate to yourself and others, you you don't take things personally because you understand how people project towards you as a reflection of who they are, and you just see the world in a different light.
Mm-hmm.
Like you are aware where you're operating from. So
Mm-hmm.
for example, I catch myself um doing negative self-talk. So I would ask myself, oh, where is this coming from? Like why am I thinking this way? Why are you having this internal dialogue?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you operating from? Because usually it's um I think I'm operating from here. So that's why I'm having this negative self-love or pressure. So if you have this level of self-awareness, that's where you are able to have these boundaries
Mm-hmm.
and be able to protect your emotional and mental well-being. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it
I was
made
on this little blabber and then get lost in all my thoughts. But yeah, I hope that made sense.
it made sense. It made sense actually, and I think we put so much energy towards projecting the kind of person who you really want people to see versus
Mm,
who wants who you want people to know from your authentic self. I think that's where the problem comes in. And I think maraming factors eh, 'di ba? Number one, friends, peer pressure, meron din social media. Lalo na yung social media, 'di ba? Sobrang I don't know, the energy that comes from social media when people posts when someone posts their success, some may get inspired by it, but some, draw
mm,
negative energy from it. Like they tend to find or they tend to build an energy that's
yeah.
focuses more of the having a kind of a narcissistic emotion or energy or feeling where I wanted to be like that because I wanted to have more of me to people for people to please. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And I
yeah.
think that's how we are going to draw the line and help people and help our society, our young kids or young generation really learn to navigate from kasi ito ano to tricky tong ano to eh, na emotion na to eh, and it's gonna cause a lot of problems, right? And ending up destroying our capacity for self-love and self-care. Kasi at the end of the day naman talaga, it's still going to be our own journey despite of this external forces. Meron tayong iba-ibang mga journey towards improving and developing self-love. Now, talking about self-love journey, what are the practical steps? Paano ba magsimula ng journey? Kasi ako, matagal ko na 'tong narinig ang self-love, eh, and, I don't know if I'm doing it if I'm doing it right now. How do I identify even that I'm on a stage of developing a kind of, you know, journey towards self-love?
I think self-awareness is key. Very important to have self-awareness. So you'll be able to gauge if whether or not, you need you need self-love.
Mhm.
Um, just going back on what you mentioned earlier about social media, I think the listeners, they should know about this, no? Now,
Mhm.
when they consume social media, they feel a certain emotion. Um, when they feel a certain emotion, it really helps when ask where you're operating from when you feel those emotions. And it puts you in check the power. Like,
Oo.
if, for example, you're operating from a place of insecurity, and then also self-acceptance is key aside from self-awareness.
So, yeah, maybe because a lot of people and the young generations right now are doesn't really know where their emotions coming from and where the origins of
Oo.
their yeah their inspirations are coming from. Some of these inspirations or some of these energies or feelings may come from trauma in the
Mm,
family or from peer pressure. Yeah.
yeah. But not everyone can really um catch the fact that they need to go through a place of healing. You really have to have that eureka moment or the moment that that epiphany to
Hmm.
really know that, oh shoot, I need to heal. Because
Yeah.
my personal experience was that moment for me, that the epiphany to me was when after my heartbreak, when I was asked, Chennie, what's your dream? That's when I realized, oh shoot, I could not answer it. I was so lost. I was so messed up. I was in a very messy situation because I totally lost myself. I gave 100% to that guy and everything, my dreams, my aspirations that revolved around the person. And that's when I learned you should not attach the definition of who you are um to someone or to anything, because when they're gone, where's your sense of self? Who are you when they're gone or when something is gone? So I think that's already an act of self-love. I think
Hmm.
people really have to go through experiences to have all these, awakening.
Yeah.
Um, I think the first step to self-love is do a life audit, you know.
I like that.
Check where you are in all aspects of your life, emotional, mental well-being, your your also physical. Like check how you're doing physically. Are you taking care of your body? Taking
Hmm.
care of yourself as a whole in all aspects, not just
Yeah.
body. So yeah, I think that answers the question. Sorry, it
It's
when I'm
yeah.
what different topics, but to answer your question, going back, just
Yeah.
the first step is to do a life audit.
Life audit. Yeah, parang
Yeah.
i-gather mo lahat ng mga areas in your life. Then
Yes. Yes.
ano ba 'tong area na 'to? Is this something worth, reevaluating, carrying to the next journey? Is this something I needed right now to prioritize? Is this something that could help me boost my confidence, and my area of, expertise probably in terms of career? Kasi this also applies to people who are in yeah, professional people, right? That they also forget to do
Mm-hmm.
self-love. A lot of professionals tend to forget having to take care of themselves because they're too much consumed by the energy of work and trying to
Mm-hmm.
build the career dreams and all of that. And I think it's a good time for people to start their journey with an audit, like what you've said.
Yeah. And when you do the life audit, make sure that it's not influenced. Di sa huli ko, bitaw mo U-turn ka sa, because people need to see me as this person. No, like
Mm,
what really is true to you? What
got
do
it.
you really want? Yeah.
Nice, 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 nice. Well, I like that. Thank you so much for that amazing insight. It also helps our viewer and our listeners to really start evaluating, probably when they're listening right now, start re-evaluating themselves. But let's talk about the different various stages of different at various stages, life stages in an individual. Paano ba ito nagsisimula from an adolescent and having into moving into an adult? adulthood stage and finally, um, the the later stage.
Yeah. So, with teenagers, I think they have to find themselves. I think it's really important for, again, um, find that sense of self. Um, and they can find that, and they will be able to do that by exploring and exploring responsibly.
Mm-hmm.
um, it's essential that they find their sense of self and identity detached from, expectations of the society and peers.
Mm-hmm.
The question really, I guess, is who do I want to become? No.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, um, Impact with social media, not just social media, but in general, when you already found or figured out who you want to become and continue the work, you will be able to filter out what you consume on social media and what or who you surround with.
Mm-hmm.
That helps when you have that sense of self. This is who I am. This is who I want to become. So that person, what does she pursue? Who does she surround herself with? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that makes sense for adolescents. I think that is what they should do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I also like that you highlight the support coming from relationships kasi ito parang ito yung stage na when we were still teenagers, we tend to drive um emotions from the relationships we have, not just intimate, but from friends, from family. These are like the foundations, right? We kind of like build the foundation of the support system that we will get or that we're getting towards self identity and meaning in life. uh, Initial meaning in life kasi hindi pa I'm pretty sure hindi pa ganito ka deep yung purpose na yung paghahanap ng purpose and meaning in life, eh. Parang nag-e-enjoy pa lang 'tong stage na 'to, 'di ba? And feeling good about
Yeah.
ourselves, just hanging out and going with the flow. Parang wala pa masyado tayong mga issues, personal issues, at that time. So I think, I agree with what you said na magsisimula 'yun sa identifying, building self-identity. What do I want it to become? That's the question that needs to be answered versus, the rest of the other things. Yeah, how about the adulthood? Paano naman 'to? Kasi ngayon andito na ako sa adulthood for sure. Nandito na tayo sa adulthood, eh. Paano kaya
Yes.
tayo ina-navigate? Baka naman, yung self-love natin ngayon is mabayaran yung mga bills natin or ano baka, makapag-travel, 'di ba mga gano'ng klase na self-love pa rin ba yun?
Pwede. Pwede naman.
Mhm.
To answer your question, Pat, it evolves based on the experiences as an adult. It depends on which phase you are in your adulthood.
Mhm.
Real life example for me. So I have been good level of self-awareness in my early uni or college years because I was carrying a lot of weight from unhealed wounds during my teenage years. Only up until college na I learned the value of self-love and only more on self-care, physical stuff, and embracing and loving my body. So during the early college days. So, and then it got super deep, way deeper after the heartbreak experience, which I mentioned. So, you're able to balance and find a way to balance it if you are determined to show and give yourself love, the love you deserve is particular. So, yeah, like I said earlier, do a life audit.
Mhm.
That's the time in our adulthood that we really need to do a life audit. We constantly need to do a life audit because we really
Mhm.
get lost, we get sidetracked from
Go
time
back
to
to the
time.
life audit.
Yes, go back to the life audit and make try to make things balance as much as possible. They would say it's a privilege or check your privilege, but I don't think it's a privilege thing because I couldn't afford therapy.
Mm,
And when I had an epiphany that I know weakening moment that I need healing. It's like, shoot, that's a really deep inner child wound, but I cannot
yeah.
afford therapy right now. What should I do? So
Mm,
it really boils down to your determination and acceptance to really I need to heal. And if I don't heal, I will keep projecting this to not just towards how I and
yeah.
no, not just towards how I face people and deal with people socially.
Mm,
Because unconsciously, unknowingly, you hurt people kasi
you
you're
hurt
hurt,
people
you're
pala,
unhealed.
oo.
But it can also affect through what you tolerate. So for
Mhm.
example, an inner child wound growing up. This is a very personal thing, but okay, I'll just share it. So growing up, my father was emotionally unavailable to me as a kid. So because that is a familiar chaos, I wasn't on the V. I chased.
Ah, okay.
I chased emotionally unavailable men. And I just wondered while dating, ano na-popular na? Murag, di
Mm,
naman dyan sala sa universe. Di naman dyan sala ni God. Murag, I should stop blaming and take accountability because it's already a pattern. So kana, going back. So, more reflect on the way you treat people, but also with your decisions and your relationships and the environment that you tolerate kung asa ka. So that's when I thought na, oh my gosh, I really need to do something about it. But I cannot afford therapy. So what I did, I consumed on self-love, self-growth, self-development content, read self-books, and uh, until I met this emotional and spiritual coach who has been really helpful with my journey. If there's a will, there's a way, really. I don't think it's a privilege. It's a question of privilege. It's just, yeah, finding ways you can to heal step by step. Doesn't have to happen overnight because it doesn't really. Healing doesn't really happen overnight. It matters. One step matters. Like, yeah, I'm reading this book, Science of Stuff, for example. So, yeah, it helps me become more self aware. So, that's a step to my healing. Yeah. So I was determined to break that cycle and heal. So I had to do what I had to do so that I become a better person. Because, I set my mind to the fact to this going back to the question, who do I wanna become? I don't wanna be stuck from being identified by my past wounds and past trauma. No, we don't wanna be identified by that. We don't want to be, having this victim mentality. We should be focused on who do you want to be? Who are you becoming? It's being and becoming instead of that's my past. I was this is the pain defined me, the hurt defined me. No, we're supposed to shift that. Okay.
Now, we talked about adolescent and then we talk about adulthood. How about later life stage? And how do you think would that look like? I mean, we're still not there, obviously, but do you have an insight or do you have a projection of how self-love looks like in a later life stage?
Currently sleep on behalf of the elderly, but I think maybe if it was me, doesn't have to be luxurious or grand. Just being able to be at that state of wherein I can say I have truly lived a life rather than making a living. You know what I mean? I think that's self love, and also I feel that it's either we find new passion or we reunite with our old passion. I think that's also an act of self love in the later life. And if it doesn't spark, we explore new things. We may be limited because of our physical limitations. As an old person, at the mga joint. Pero I think it's still an act of self-love if we try to reunite with our old passions and the stuff that used to make us happy. Yeah, simple things. And I think it's important that when you reach at that certain age, you can tell na you have to live your life because a lot of us, we are stuck in that hustle culture, trying to make a living. And
Mhm.
how we truly live our lives. Na happy na ka is we look back.
Get a better picture of it na. Like from these three life stages, it all starts with the adolescent stage, probably gathering all these self identities, or not self identities, but all the purpose or the dreams that we have in life, gathering them in, really
Building our core.
building the core, yes, and the foundations, having all the
Mm-mm.
support systems. And when we get to the adulthood stage, then we start to prioritize which ones that would really matter and would make me happy. I think that's the
Life audit.
next question, right? And then the life audit. And then the final audit with our later life stage would be having to recall, or having had to have a recollection with all those things and the achievements and the just living the emotional fulfillment, like embracing the emotional fulfillment from all of those experiences, all of those triumphs, ups and downs, the challenges, the downfall, all of those things that makes us as whole. I think that's the best way to really enjoy and navigate through self-love, because at some point when andun na tayo sa part na titingnan na natin na magse-set na yung suns natin, it's also good to recall, no? Yung parang magkakaroon ka ng recollection, that was really nice. I didn't expect na magagawa ko yun during that period of time in my life. I would not expect that I would marry with this person, a super loving and on, also recover from a very traumatic experience or relationships. All these things I think makes our human experience great and amazing, no? So self-love, although we hear that, or we've been hearing that for so many times, it's been like it's been a cliche. Parang ano na siya, parang it's a common word to hear from people, but ang bigat pala niya, no? And ang journey pala talaga niya is our human experience, the totality of our human
Yeah.
experience, and how we survive. I think that's also one way to say na it also helps us survive, hindi lang sa physical aspect, but emotionally, spiritually, everything. It makes us sane. Goes us back to our roots, to be grounded, to be looking while
Mm.
grounded, looking ahead. That kind of point in a human experience, and I think that's very wonderful. Wow, this is
You said
amazing.
it so perfect. Thank you.
Any final thoughts or advice you have for our listeners today that have been following us in
Okay.
S1E1?
First of all, I want to say thank you so much for your time and for listening. This is a very serious topic. uh, not di tanong makasugahon, but you are so brave and courageous for listening and for taking it all in. And I hope you found this insightful, inspirational, and empowering at the
Yeah.
same time. So something motivational and inspiring for you guys. I am so glad that inside the Inside Out movie
Yeah.
is advocating and educating us about emotions. I just want to reiterate this. I know the movie has already showed this fact, but because emotional intelligence and emotional well-being is also important. So not just mental health, there's also emotional well-being. If you dismiss or suppress even your negative emotions, you will eventually project that to your reality. So also on either how you perceive the world, your experiences, and you unintentionally hurts people. So embrace your emotions. And but there was this one time that a guy told me that men cannot or should not express emotions because it's not manly.
Yeah.
No, okay, no. Um, regardless of your gender, you have to embrace those emotions. Acknowledge it, label it, feel it because it has to be felt. And once you do, release. Which leads me to my last point. I'll end this with a quote.
Mhm.
Your inner dialogue plants the seeds for how you feel about yourself, and it gets reflected in how you show up in the world. It's necessary for your growth. Um, because when you do the work, the rest will follow. Trust me on that, Joe. I know it's
Yeah.
rough, I know it's tough, but think about it. You're a diamond in the rough. You're a diamond after all of this process, after all of this, journey.
Mhm.
Do the work. Keep on doing the work. And the rest will follow. Trust me.
Well, thank you so much, Chi. And I think with that, let's end this on a very serious note that loving yourself is the foundation of a happy and fulfilling life. Embracing all of our uniqueness, nurturing our well being, and remembering that we are worthy of love and respect. Well, thank you, Chini. And you invite people, how can they follow you, please?
Just at Chennie Montero on Instagram, TikTok. I'm also on YouTube. It's Chennie TV. Follow and subscribe. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And don't forget to share your self journey with us on social media using hashtag on a very serious note and would love to hear from you and check you out on our websites and resources for upcoming episodes on self love and a whole lot more. See you next time.